Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining us on this podcast at Dawdle. Thank you
Thank
so much for the fabulous work that you have been doing. And today we'll be kind of talking around the work that Vaibhav has been doing and his company Mindmark Digital have been doing. But before we go to the topics, would like to give a formal introduction of what Mindmark Digital is doing. So it's a purpose-built technology marketing consultancy, which is focused on helping companies accelerate revenue growth through a data-driven and integrated marketing strategy. The company specializes in demand generation, account-based marketing, performance marketing, and omni-channel outreach to generate qualified leads and convert them into business opportunities.
you. Yes.
Uh, uh, the company kind of combines deep market research, targeted messaging, and marketing automation, and thereby enabling organizations improve outreach efficiency and increase conversion rate. They have already worked with a lot of clients and with a proven expertise in executing hundreds of campaigns and supporting multiple businesses across industry. Mindmark Digital will act as a growth partner that will help companies win more deals and scale sustainably. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining us. So, Vaibhav, very quickly, we were going through the website and, the site, and also we had a conversation before, and we see that Mindmark kind of positions itself as a technology market consultancy. So technology marketing consultancy, which is focused on revenue outcomes. So what are the biggest disconnect that you see between a marketing activity and an actual revenue in B2B companies today?
Yes. Thanks, Rishikesh, for such a good introduction. So, as you mentioned, that we are not just doing the marketing, we are just trying to build the growth engine, and that is our core mission or core purpose as well. So, what we see as the biggest revenue gap or something like that is that most of the B2B companies or B2C companies just focus on the metrics part, like they are getting the good clicks, good open rates in terms of email marketing, good, but there is no actual lead that are coming that actually adds up to their revenue pipeline. So when we partner with these companies, we try to fix that particular gap. We just don't focus on everything that, yeah, the sales should happen, but it should fix the complete pipeline from starting from the acquisition till the retention of the customer. We try to bridge all those things. That is something which we are trying to do. And we focus on the real metrics where the real revenue kicks into the place or real customer comes into the place. And that's why our campaign are data driven and focused on the revenue from the very first day when we start working with them.
So kind of we are shifting from a campaign based mindset to an outcome based mindset. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So more focused toward the outcome rather than just running the multiple campaign and nothing is giving the result. So that is not we are trying to do that. Do with this organization while building the Mindmark.
so if a SaaS or a tech company kind of engages with Mindmark, what exactly are you building for them? Is it campaigns, positioning, automation, or a complete growth engine?
So we are not like a consultant that we will just give you the strategy and you will execute. We are a unified growth engine platform where we will fix their positioning and messaging, identify their ICP, create the demand generation campaigns, look for the automation tools, whether it's Clay, Marketo, Bloomreach, or any other tool to scale it a bit. We just don't create the campaign on the basis of that whatever the general persona lies in the market with respect to your product. We just target that. We try to capture the intent signals, customers intent signals, to draft the campaign to create the growth engine so that the actual demand or actual revenue comes into the picture.
Got it. So it's more about like, kind of aligning marketing, automation, and also kind of can be seen from a perspective of RevOps as well. Like, it kind of like there are various tools inside the company, 15, 20 tools sprawling here and there, but they are not working in synchronism. So Mindmark also helps them, kind of align.
Exactly, very rightly said. The most of the companies buy tools for their outreach purposes, which are not working, which are not syncing. So it becomes very difficult for the founder or CEO or CMO to visualize the actual data. So when the marketing and sales team comes together and their tools collaborate in a good unified way, then only the actual growth actually become visible. We get the right attributions of the lead, and that's where the co-founder or CEO or CMO gets a clear picture. So maybe these tools actually help to synchronize all the things, bring all the different campaigns to one particular dashboard. That is what these tools help us to gain the visibility.
And you also emphasize that product marketing, partner marketing, demand generation, referral marketing, and performance marketing must work together. So why
Yes.
do companies do you think that they kind of struggle when these functions operate in silos instead of one unified system?
So what happens is that every company have their unified fixed budget for each of these things, and every person tries to justify their particular strategy or their particular areas. But that's not we call as a combined growth or a actual growth that was coming to come. So it's important that we actually the product marketing should fix the positioning and messaging, and then that positioning and messaging should go actual to the performance marketing or the referral marketing or the partner channels as well, or what we call affiliate channels. So if there is no sync in the messaging or no sync in the pain point that the company is trying to solve across all the channel, it becomes haywire. Specifically for the B2B companies, when the messaging is not synchronized on all the channel, the prospect tend to lose the interest. They tend to deviate, that they are saying something on another platform and something on another platform. So that is where, despite doing all the things good, at this point the customer prospect lose their interest in the company and they fall from the funnel. So it's important to bring the collaborative efforts while bringing out creating the campaign, while creating the messaging and all those things, so that a synchronized approach or synergetic approach works to gain the model or gain the growth. So that is what we call the synergistic growth model.
And you also, keep on emphasizing that generating qualified lead and converting them into opportunities. And
Yes.
we see that many companies, they generate lead, but they struggle when it comes to quality. So how does your research driven ICP, because you have mentioned that intent signals as well,
Yes.
research driven ICP reasoning and high intent, targeting improve conversion rates?
Exactly. So we don't just emphasize over quantity, we emphasize over quality. That is our core purpose, because getting more and more leads is very easy. You pump in the budget on the performance marketing and you start getting the leads. But it's important to understand the high intent buyer analysis, whether the buyer actually resonates with that. We do the research from the competitors, what your competitor customers are doing, try to understand that pain point and then to sell the product based on that pain point. Of course, there is very difference between the user persona and decision maker persona. User personas are generally the one who will use that software or a tool. Decision maker persona is generally the co-founder or CXO level person. So it's important to identify the pain points of both, so that we can have the crafted campaign for each of the personas, and then understanding the industry which we are targeting. Maybe one software is applicable to health tech or fintech both. So it's important to actually send the different messaging for health tech and different messaging for the fintech. If we are doing all this together, clubbing all these things, we will not be able to identify the good messaging for each ICP. That is what ICP reasoning or high intent buyer analysis comes in. We try to listen to the social signals as well. If we are targeting the software which is specifically for developers or coders, we try to listen their pain points which they generally put on Reddit, Quora, GitHub channels, try to understand their pain points and then send out the communication to them, whether via email, LinkedIn ads, or other channels. So that is where this ICP or research level work comes into picture before kicking off the actual campaign or actual marketing efforts.
Right. And you kind of also focus heavily on product analysis, competitor research, and structured messaging before, kind of running outreach. So how does this preparation lead to better response rate and a stronger pipeline?
So as I mentioned that most of the outreach, most of the companies do is generic. They just pull out the list of the ICP where they just simplify the ICP based on the employee size and the geography major, whether you want to target Indian or the US market or Canadian market. That is not what we do. We have the record and mold phase, that we try to understand the industry, try to understand your competitor, what they are doing with their messaging, try to understand their weaknesses also, like your competitor weakness. Maybe there is some feature or some USP which you hold very better which your competitor doesn't hold much. So we try to tailor our messaging around that, tailor our messaging to specific personas. That is where most of these tools help us to do that this thing. We are currently working on the tools like Clay and Octave that actually understand all these things. For
Mm.
in the engineering department also, if we have the engineering head and the DevOps engineer, both will have different pain points or different things to understand from particular software or different things to absorb from that particular software. So we try to capture that and then we send out the mail. Our purpose is not to just blast or do the email blast and send out random mails, but send the less quantity but more over the quality mails to them, so that that actually give them the value. They open up the emails or they open up the campaigns or they view the campaign and then deliver, then take the next steps of booking up the meeting or submitting their inquiry over the website. So that is what we try to do.
And you have already run over 200 plus campaigns and generated thousands of leads contributing to significant revenue. Do you like to share a couple of one or two examples where a company moved from inconsistent marketing to a predictable pipeline growth after working with Mindmark?
So yes, after running with so many campaigns and contributing to the revenue, we just try to create the impact that is measurable, that is viewable for the co-founder or the CXO person. So for instance, we have worked with the Code Judge where they are trying to get to the HR tech is their right personas. We understand their pain points. So a little bit about Code Judge. Code Judge is a technical assessment platform, so we try to reach out to the HRs or engineering heads. Again, these two are the different personas. HR heads have the different mindset while interviewing the candidates, or engineering heads have the different mindset while interviewing the candidates, developers, and coders. So we try to understand both the things, try to draft the campaigns against both the personas, of course, looking after the industry wise segregations as well, geography wise segregation as well, and employee size wise segregation as well. We try to look at their competitors, what they are doing, what particular pain point they are trying to solve, and what edge we can give over to that. So that is something that we have done and that have actually enhanced their lead generation and the actual demand generation and contributed to their direct revenue.
And what kind of companies do you mostly work with? Like, is it startups or even the mid-size and enterprise level companies as well?
So we generally work with the startups, maybe somewhere in the employee size of 0 to 50 or 50 to 100, but not more than 100. Our core purpose is to give them the good approach, good growth engine that is scalable and that gives them the result. So that is something which we try to do.
Yeah. And especially makes sense because for these startups, you also run this fractional CMO concept.
Exactly.
So how does combining a strategic leadership with execution to change outcomes for such companies?
So what happens is most of the companies may have the executors, but they don't know in which direction to move it. That's where this particular concept come into the picture, that yeah, fractional CMO kind of a service or consultancy I can provide them, where I try to design the complete strategy, growth strategy for that company, and then the team can actually look after the execution. I try to basically overlook all the execution part and suggesting any changes, and that actually allows me to work on all the different areas, whether it's the content part, whether it's website, whether it's SEO. So all these areas, the strategical level inputs I can give, and the team can actually do the ground level work for this.
Got it. And now at the last, like if a founder or a marketing leader is listening today, what signs indicate that they need a structured growth engine rather than just another agency running ads?
So there are many, you can say, red flags in this, where and the founder or CXO level listen to their sales team or have a conversation with their sales team. Mostly the sales team mention that the leads are not junk, they are not contributing, they are not replying back to their emails after getting interested also. So that is we call the garbage or junk leads. Most of the time they say that for this particular month revenue hit large, revenue goals are met, but for the next quarter or next month revenue goals are not met. That's not usually the case. There are some seasonality, but not always. Maybe the festival or something, that seasonality can be considered, but not at the always. Mostly that things needs to be considered, and that optimization needs to be done before that quarter also. Most of the founders or co-founders or CXO level people I've heard saying that the product is great,
Hmm.
it's perfect for the market, but we are not trying to sell. Maybe they are not looking at the good or relevant ICP. They are trying to just do the spray model kind of a thing, that they are spraying their features to large community and assuming that they will pick up, and that community will pick up, or that particular pool will pick up the tool or software to work with. So it should not be the spray model. It should be the targeted arrow kind of model, where we just send the arrow to the right direction to the right target, and it actually hits and give you the relevant score or relevant in the terms of revenue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, for joining us and sharing, this information about Mindmark. And kudos to you and the team for doing such a fabulous work for so many startups. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing this.